Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Chew. I'm Pastor Robert. This is day 5 of week 13. This is our roundup for encountering Jesus in the second week. Our foundational passages were found in John chapter 20, verses 11 through 18, and Luke chapter 24, verses 36 through 39. Now, if you haven't read them this week, or if you haven't read them since Monday, I want to encourage you to go read these passages again. We covered a lot of ground. Our 3 theological affirmations: Jesus calls us by name, Jesus proves his resurrection, and Jesus gives instruction. Jesus knows us by name, and he calls us by name. How do we know that Jesus knows us? Well, in Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 5, we read this: "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you." In John chapter 10, verse 27, Jesus says this: "My sheep listen to my voice. I know them, and they follow me." Jesus calls us by name. Understand this. Get a hold of this. We love to hear our name called, don't we? Imagine the love and the care and the truth of Jesus calling us by name. It's better, it's sweeter than anything we can ever know. Jesus called Mary by name, and she touched him in John chapter 20, verse 16. Jesus met with his disciples, and it wasn't until he ate a piece of broiled fish that they realized that Jesus was in fact alive in the flesh. John chapter 24, verse 41. Then we have another account where Jesus proved his resurrection, and that's found in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verses 1 through 8. Paul writes an account to the church at Corinth, and he tells them about Jesus' appearing to Peter, to the disciples, to 500 on one occasion, James, and then to himself on the road to Damascus. Jesus proves his resurrection was not a once or twice encounter. He revealed himself in the flesh to many people before he ascended to be with the Father. This is important for us to understand. We have these witnesses who testified to Jesus being alive. Jesus gave instructions. He gave instructions to Mary at the tomb to go and tell the disciples to wait. He would come to meet them in Galilee. He gave instructions for the disciples to wait in Jerusalem until they received the Father's promise. That's in Luke chapter 26, verses 46 through 49. And then in Acts chapter 2, verses 1 through 13, the day of Pentecost, we read that all of the disciples received the Holy Spirit at the same time. This was a fulfillment of the promise of God, and Jesus told them that this would happen. Jesus gives us instructions, and the Holy Spirit helps us to carry out those instructions and to fulfill the mission of God. We have to ask ourselves, are we going to follow Jesus and his way, or are we going to choose to follow our own way? I pray that as you consider these things today, as you go back and read these passages, as you read these references that I've given today in full, that as you do, you'll invite the Holy Spirit to give you eyes to see and ears to hear God's truth from his word. That you'll have a receptive heart and mind to receive these truths. And then that you'll act with the same boldness, commitment, and courage of Jesus to take the steps in your life the Holy Spirit is leading you to take. I pray you'll have a wonderful day and a fantastic weekend, my friends. Blessings to you. Bye for now.